I'm Belinda Sandor, also known as Rocket Girl. Today on the Rocket Girl Show, we're going to talk about how to handle 30-minute discovery calls. Let's get started. Good morning, everybody. I'm Belinda Sandor, also known as Rocket Girl. Today, we're going to talk about how to handle 30-minute free consultations, also known as discovery calls. Now, as a virtual assistant, a 30-minute session with someone is a wonderful, wonderful way to get to know them, to understand if you're a good fit. And so one of the things you want to do is you want to make these calls as easy to happen as possible. So what I mean by that is there's a link to get on my calendar in my email signature. There's a link to get on my calendar at the in the footer on the bottom of every single web page on my website. There's also an invitation on my social media platforms and at the bottom of every newsletter I send out. So you want to make it as simple as possible for someone to schedule one of these calls, because imagine this. So here's an entrepreneur. It's Thursday night. It's 8 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night, and they're at their desk and they're thinking, I need help, right? I need help. And someone has told them about your services because word of mouth is so remarkable, in terms of getting clients. And right in that moment, they say, I'm going to go to that website and see what's going on. And they jump right on your calendar, right? So you want to make it super simple for that to happen. So there's not any back and forth. There's not any struggle. Okay. And even if you don't have a website, go ahead and set up an account at Acuity or the free Calendly. Hook it to your connect it to your calendar and put yourself out there, out in the world. All right, so people can get on your schedule. So I want to walk through some of the finer points about this, so that it's a success for you. All right, so here's some things to remember. You want to, like I said, you want to make sure they're easy to schedule. So spread that link everywhere. Make sure you're watching your calendar. Make sure your calendar is up to date, so there aren't any calendar snafus. You want to make sure that you're available, and you can have a lot of control over the calendar scheduling software. You can say only from 10 to noon, Monday through Thursday. So you do have a lot of control. So don't worry about all of a sudden your calendar is going to be flooded. In the 11 years, I've probably been using Acuity for, I don't know, probably 8 years. That's never happened. It's never happened. And I am, sprinkling that link everywhere we go. So let's say good morning to a couple of people. Hello, hello, hello. Here's Kyla. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Lana. Yes, eliminate any barriers to getting in touch. Make it easy. That's right. That's right. Make it as easy as possible. Okay. Now, I want you to ask some questions during the scheduling process. Okay. And what I mean by that is when someone clicks to get onto my calendar, there are 4 questions that I ask right there before they can get on my calendar. So the first one is, who referred you? The reason I want to know this is you've heard the expression, birds of a feather flock together. My best clients refer my best clients. My crazy clients refer my crazy clients. All right. So keep that in mind. Now, it's not 100% always true. So you might have a crazy client refer someone who's going to be an ideal client, but you really have to listen closely to make sure they're a fit for you. Okay. So it's not a foregone conclusion, but it's kind of a trend. It's kind of a trend. The next thing you want to know is, do they have a website, right? Because that's going to let you know a little bit about the phase they're in their business, the season, and if they do, what's the URL. Now, I'm not going to do a lot of research. I'm not going to spend a lot of time before the call looking at their website, because this is not a job interview. Okay, a discovery call is a way for the two of you to get to know each other and decide if it's a fit to work together. So you're not going to be grilled about what they do and how long they've been in business or anything like that. But I like to look at the website because, again, it tells me a little bit about the season they're in their business. Is their website HTML? It's like in the dark ages, the pictures are 20 years old, or is it up to date? And not for judgment, just more just to think, okay, so this is where they are, right? This is who's coming to me. The other thing I ask is, what would you like to talk about? And I ask this for a couple of reasons. Sometimes someone has referred someone to me and they just think I'd be a good person to know. That's fine. I'm happy to talk to them, right? Because I'm in the business of collecting people and, meeting people and having everyone that I can on the planet know about what I do so that they can refer me. So, but that's a different conversation. And I want to be ready for the type of conversation I'm going to be having. So I absolutely ask them, what do they want to talk about? And also they may, oops, they may, there's my alarm telling me to make sure I'm here. They also may say, I want help with planning an event, or I want, help setting up XYZ. And I want to just have an idea of whether or not that's something I know how to do going into the conversation. Okay. So I gather the information. I don't spend a lot of time on it. It's a way to help start the conversation. So let's see who's over here. So good morning. Hello, Gail, Chantel. Good afternoon to everyone from the Netherlands. Yes, good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, the next thing I want you to like I said, I don't want you to spend a ton of time before, okay? So now that I'm so comfortable with discovery calls, I look at the email when it comes in to tell me that they've scheduled the call. I might click on the URL in that moment, but usually what I do is I click on it while I'm starting the phone conversation just to have the page up. And I'm really not doing a lot of research. It's what's really interesting, and this isn't true across the board, but for about 95% of my clients, I don't really know that much about what they do. Like, I know the category of work that they fall into, but I'm not that involved with their work with their clients. I'm mostly supporting their businesses so that they can have, a steady stream of clients coming into their business. So, newsletters, PowerPoint presentations, scheduling meetings, things like that. So it's not important that I have their website memorized. So just remember that, okay? Because I know we are the people who want to be prepared, all right? But I want you to use your time in ways that is productive for you and billable and will move the needle in your business, all right? Awesome. And here's Heather. Hello, Heather. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So when you're having a conversation, I want you to listen very carefully to what they're saying and how they're speaking to you. Okay. And because what I'm listening for is, is this a conversation? Are they listening to me? Are they speaking over me? Really, how is this conversation going? I want to know, do I like them? Do I like the work that they want me to potentially do? And so you really want to try to settle down as much as you can to hear what they're saying and ask yourself those questions. Because if you decide to work with them, you're going to be spending time with them, right? And this is sort of like a first date. Everybody's got their hair combed and their best clothes on, right? So you want to remember that when you're in this conversation, okay? You also want to be prepared to talk about your prices and services, okay? So how this goes is, in the beginning, I'll say to someone, the conversation starts and I say, how's your day going so far? Great. Okay. Would you, and then if it's quiet, a couple of things can happen. One is they're quiet. The other is they, jump right in and they start the conversation. If there's a hesitation or a little quietness, what I'll say is, would you like to tell me about your business, or would you like me to go first? And they'll choose. And if they want me to go first, I say, great. So my business is called RocketGirl Solutions. I've been a VA for about 11 years. I work with solo professionals to help them, XYZ. And this is what we learned in the challenge on day 2. Okay. So if you haven't done the challenge with me yet, we're going to get started again on July 25th. And on July 26th, I'm going to teach you how to talk about your work in this discovery call and everywhere in the world. Okay. Everywhere you go. So I tell them about my work, and in that description, I tell them about 3 services that I offer, and then I stop talking. Once I stop talking, that means it's their turn, right? So they'll either comment on it, or they'll tell me about their business, or they might say, well, I'd like help with XYZ. Do you do that too? And then that's a yes or no, right? Really pretty simple. Really pretty simple. But you do need to be prepared to talk about your pricing. You need to practice it out loud. And if they don't bring it up, you need to bring it up. You absolutely need to bring it up. You can say, have you had a chance to look at my website to see how I price my services? Stop talking, right? And then if they say yes, you say, great, would you like me to review it with you? And if they say no, you say, it's really simple. Here's how it works. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And you explain how the pricing works. But you need to be able to talk about it. You really do. And you're going to have to practice, and it's going to be uncomfortable, and then it's going to be fine. It's going to be totally fine. Okay. But you need to be able to, speak in a way that gives them the understanding that your prices aren't negotiable. This is what they are. Boom, boom, boom. Very important. Okay. And Carrie says, good morning. Good morning, Carrie. And Heather, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. And then have a clear next step. Now, what I mean by that is, so you're talking and, you think, all right, I like this person. This could be a good relationship, because you get to decide, right? They're not the decider. You're deciding as well. This is a two-way street. So don't think that, that they're the powerful, interviewer and you're just there being passive. It's really, you get to decide. And you can use phrases like, if they say, can you update Word documents? You can say, yes, if we decide to work together, key phrase, I would be happy to help you with that, right? So that sets the tone of the call if we decide to work together. So you get to the end of the call, you've talked about pricing, you've talked about all the things, and it sounds like they might be interested in working with you. So what you can say in that moment is, it seems like we'd be a great fit. I'd love to work with you. Stop talking. Here's what's going to happen. One, they say, great, I'd love that. We'll come back to that. I'd like to think about it. And then you can say, that's great. Would you like me to follow up with you? If they say no, okay, say, well, it was such a pleasure to meet you. I'm happy to jump on another call with you if you'd like more information. If they say, yes, I'd like you to follow up with me, say, great, when would be a good time? And then make sure you do it. If they say no, they're not interested, you very graciously say, you'd say, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to meet you. If your needs change in the future, please give me a call. Stop talking, right? And it's not a rejection. It's not a good fit, right? It's not a rejection. It's just not a good fit. And so you just want to remember that now a whole other person knows all about what you do, and that's fabulous. Okay, now if they say, yes, I'd like to work with you, great. Okay, but you have to have a next step. And this was something I did not have for a long time, and it finally bonked me over the head. So you can say, great, I'll send you a link to buy your first debit card. After you do that, you'll get an email from me, within an hour, and then we'll set up our first meeting and we'll get started. That's all you need to say. Okay. And then you do that. So I send them a link. They buy their first debit card. I have a welcome letter. I send it to them. They schedule their first meeting. Or sometimes they'll say, let's schedule the meeting right now. And I say, great. Now, if they don't buy the debit card, I'll follow up with them before the meeting, because we're not having the meeting until they buy the debit card, right? Because we don't work until we get paid. So that's how it goes. So let's say hello. We've got some people here. Miriam says, grand rising, everyone. Hey, Magdalene. Good evening. Good morning from Meredith. Hello. So I'm glad it's valuable, Liz. I'm glad that this is valuable for you. And Eudora, good afternoon from Nigeria. Awesome. Okay, so one more thing before we go. I mentioned this, but starting on July 25th, we're going to have the next VA Client Kickstart Challenge. So if you have been part of this in the past, you know that it's 5 days, action-packed, and I tell you exactly how to get started having a steady stream of clients. All right, so don't miss that. Go to vachallenge.info. Come on into our Facebook group. I'd love to have you. If you've done the challenge already once or twice or 3 times, come back. All right, come back and do it with me again. I'd love to have you. And during the challenge, I'm opening the doors to VA School, which is my signature program where I teach aspiring and established virtual assistants how to have the business of their dreams. So I would love to have you check that out. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.